besties, welcome back to another video. You're realizing I'm filming this outside and everybody can hear me. Today we're gonna be talking about all the books that I read in the month of April. I read a lot of good books this month, and overall I'm very excited to talk about these because I very much in fact got my first 5-star of the year. So I'm excited to talk about that. So let's get started, which is actually my first book of the month too. Okay, first book I read, we started off with Love Song by Elle Kennedy. Elle Kennedy is one of my favorite authors, probably my favorite, honestly. I don't know. I don't really think about favorite authors because there's so many and there's so many books that I read. But Elle Kennedy is the same author who wrote the Off Campus series. Love Song, this is like the next gen series of the kids, like the couple's kids from Off Campus. This one follows, I don't know if I say who it is, that's a spoiler, but I'll just say their names. This one follows Wyatt and Blake. I don't want to spoil whose kids those are, so I'll leave that for your imaginations. I don't want to say too much without spoiling it, but nor will I say the premise because that kind of spoils it. I'll say what the deal's about. The Deal by Elle Kennedy, which I actually have right here because this is my current read. I'm rereading this book because the show comes out next week. I'm so excited. This is The Deal by Elle Kennedy. Let's not talk about these OG covers from 2016 because I read it that long ago. The Deal by Elle Kennedy, the smile on my face talking about it because I love this book that much. The Deal by Elle Kennedy follows Garrett Graham and Hannah Wells. Hannah Wells is a really good student and what's it called? Music major? Yes. And Garrett Graham's a hockey player who he really classifies himself as a jock. Other people don't really have to say it because he's just like, yeah, I'm a jock. Oh well. Captain of the hockey team. He does it all and gets a really bad grade on this, what was it? Philosophical. I can't speak. I don't remember. I just read that page the other day. Philosophical ethics. That doesn't even sound real. Philosophical ethics. That's the class. He gets a really bad grade, and he finds out Hannah got a really good grade. So he asks her to tutor him, and at first she says no, which Garrett's like, whoa, a girl's saying no to me. This is surprising. So there's that. I can't even talk about this cover. This cover is so ridiculous and insane. Anyways, eventually she agrees to tutor him, but it turns into a romance. But there's so much more than romance in this book. I swear. I literally swear. There's so much more than romance. There are deep, I don't want to say traumatic, but there's possibly triggering topics in this book. So if you are interested, maybe read trigger warnings. Yeah, and this one, those are kids. So yeah, this was my first 5-star of this year, guys. First book of the month, first 5-star. I read this like right after my birthday and it was everything. I love Elle Kennedy books. Just the whole premise I really liked. There was this one trope in here that honestly I really thought I was gonna dislike because honestly it's one of my favorite tropes, but done wrong, especially in this. I was like, love this trope, wrong book, wrong characters. That's how I felt about it. But the way that she did it was so perfect that it was just everything. 5 stars. 5 stars, Elle Kennedy. I can't wait for the next one, which she actually just announced a couple days ago. So yeah, I actually annotated. I don't know if you could see because the edges are sprayed and I never want to ruin them, so I did annotate in there somewhere if you could see, but I like to leave it at non-prominent. Now everything else I read this month I read either on Kindle or I borrowed from my school library or whatever, so I don't have any of these books. I do have my handy Kindle, which I read most of these books on, or I did listen to a lot of these on audio, so there's that. Second book of the month I read was Heartless by Elsie Silver, which I'm very newly, I feel like, getting into Elsie Silver. I read Flawless, I want to say last summer I think I read it, and kind of took a pause. Heartless is the second one in the series. Recently picked that up. Well, yeah, I read that this month, last month, whatever. And I don't know, I had such mixed feelings with this. I know everybody loves their Katie, and Katie ends everything to everybody, but I don't know. When I first started reading it, he was giving perverted, and I wasn't a big fan of that. It was just like inside thoughts, man, and I know you're saying them inside your head, but I don't care to know them. I don't want to know them because they're making me feel a certain type of way about you. So that's how I felt about him. Willow was giving really badass, a little too forward at times, maybe a little too provoking at times too, but I liked the book overall. Overall, I liked it. I think I rated that at 4 stars. Heartless is the second book in the Chestnut Spring series. It follows Katie and Willa Grant. Don't remember her last name. That might not be it. Willa is looking for something to spend her time. Katie is looking for a nanny. So Willa winds up being Kate's nanny, taking care of his son Luke, and a romance kind of sparks. It's a little forbidden because it's like, she's the nanny, she's so much younger than me, which it was actually only like 10 years. He was making it seem like she was so much younger and he was so much older. I thought he was like 50 reading it, but no, his dad's like 50. So I'm like, misconception. But I did like the book overall. It wasn't my favorite thing, but I rated it 4 stars. So not too many bad things on that. Next, we have The Wild Card, which was the last book in the Vancouver Storm series. I've talked about recently, and I want to say overall, like, recently, because I've been reading the Vancouver Storm series within the last couple months. I absolutely love this series. This was the last one. I was very sad for it being the last one, but it ended everything great. I honestly feel like there should be a spin-off of the next gen, not the next gen, but like the younger hockey players on the Vancouver Storms team and what's going on with them. But yeah, The Wild Card is actually about Tate Ward, who is the coach of the hockey team, and Jordan, who owns the bar where everybody on the team hangs out. And it's really interesting, to say the least. Like, I don't want to spoil what happens, but it has a good plot to it. I liked it. I didn't think I was gonna like the trope, not the trope, but like this book, and honestly Heartless, is both single dad. Never read single dad before Heartless, actually, which is very surprising now that I think about it. But yeah, I like this one. I think I rated it 4 stars too. Yeah, certainly not my favorite of the series, but not my least favorite by far. Yeah, I miss it. I'm gonna miss it because I really love the characters, all of them, and getting to see them progress as the stories go on. It's amazing. And I love me some Vancouver Storm. Next, for school, which I feel like it took us 2 months in English, I read The Things They Carried. I thought I'd include it because, you know what, even though it was for school, I did read it. So I'm putting this in here. It takes place during the Vietnam War. It's historical, realistic fiction, but it's not all fiction. There's some that's real life stuff, but the author has said that he kind of intertwines the fiction and the nonfiction stuff. It takes place, it's about soldiers in the Vietnam War. Personally, not something that interests me, but I didn't give it like 0 stars. I rated it 2.5. I've read worse, but it's like some of the stuff that they talked about was interesting, but like not in the way he told it. He made it more confusing than it needed to be, but also I feel like it was written in the 1940s or whenever it was written. So in my head, I feel like they had a different concept of writing back then. So maybe that's why the writing style feels different. But also I feel like if I read it quicker, I might have liked it more but my teacher like made us do so much writing essays and stuff about it. I'm not a big historical reader. I don't really like reading about war and stuff like that. I don't do nonfiction at all. I like literally, unless it's a memoir, I like myself some memoirs, but unless it's a memoir, I'm not really going out of my way to read something nonfiction. Last but not least, we have Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. I don't think I've read I read the reappearance of Rachel Price, and I read the first two books in the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, which I liked the first one, didn't like the second one. But this book, I want to say it feels very different from the other books she's written. Like, honestly, it almost feels like a different author to me, in my opinion. I did like it. I really did. It takes place over the course of literally a week. It starts off on the day of this Halloween party. The main character, her name is Jet Mason, I want to say. Jet goes home after her Halloween party, and all of a sudden gets hit in the head from the back, so she doesn't see who does it. And she wakes up in the hospital like 2 days later and finds out that she literally has a week to live, because when someone hit her and tried to kill her, they hit like a part of her brain that like is literally gonna kill her. So they're like, you have the option to either go into surgery right now, or you can like live the last couple of days, because the surgery is like fatal. So you can either go into surgery, which could be fatal, or live out the rest of until you got when you have an aneurysm, and it might kill you. Probably gonna kill you. She decided that she was gonna live out the rest of her days, and she didn't want to do the surgery because she knew it was gonna happen. And so the book is basically Jet trying to find the person who killed her. And I wouldn't say she was working with the cops. She's kind of working very separately, honestly. She's trying to do her own thing, figure out who killed her, and she's like, this is the last thing I'm gonna do before I die. And it's really interesting, and the way it wraps up is really interesting. The whole book is really good, honestly. Like, I found myself wanting to keep reading, because this was a book I read at school, so when the bell would ring and I'd be finished reading, I'm like, crap, because I want to read more. But yeah, I did really like this book. I rated it 4.25 stars. I think originally I rated it 4, but I'm like, this is too good. It needs to be 4.25. And yeah, that's actually all the books I read this month, which is actually decent for me, because in March I read one book, singular. So this is a step up. And this month I have only read one, but it's also like the 8th. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and listening to me talk about all the books I read in April. I would say overall I had a really good reading month, and I'm excited for May, because I'm hoping for the deal. Well, not hoping, I know the deal's gonna be 5 star because I already read it, but maybe we'll get some more 5 stars. Maybe we'll get some more books in there. Yeah, you guys can comment what you guys read this month, and you guys can subscribe if you want, because it would mean a lot to me. And that's all I have for you today. Bye guys, I love you.